Ever stop and think about your day so far? That bridge you drove over, the clean water that came out of your tap, the very building you're in right now? None of that just happened. It was all designed, planned, and built with incredible precision. So we're going to pull back the curtain on the profession that literally shapes the world around us. Okay, let's just start with the sheer scale of it all. I mean, look at this. We're talking about massive structures that tame rivers and generate power for millions of people. These aren't just cool construction projects. They're the lifeblood systems that deliver our most essential resources like water and electricity every single day. And then there's your daily commute, that unbelievably complex web of tunnels, tracks, and stations that moves millions of us around every day. That's another huge piece of the puzzle. It's like this massive, carefully orchestrated dance of logistics and, most importantly, safety.
And finally, the connections themselves. These sprawling networks of roads and overpasses, they're basically the arteries of our entire economy. They're the pathways that let everything and everyone move, fueling the modern world in ways we totally take for granted. So, when you see all this incredible infrastructure, it really makes you wonder, right? Who are the masterminds behind all of it? Who are the actual architects of our physical reality?
Well, the answer is civil engineers. And trust me, their job is so much more than you probably think. We're about to dive into what they really do, how their role has changed like crazy over the years, and why they are absolutely critical to our world. At its heart, civil engineering is one of the oldest and broadest engineering fields out there. It's not just about a single building or one road. It's about designing, building, and managing the entire physical system that our whole society runs on.
But here's the thing. The job today isn't what it used to be, not even close. The role of a civil engineer has gotten way more complex, way more strategic. Let's take a look at just how much it has evolved. Just look at this contrast. In the past, an engineer might have just, cranked out a set of drawings and handed them off. Job done. But today, they're strategic advisors, guiding a project from the very first idea to the final ribbon cutting. And, this is key, they're figuring out how to build with nature, not just pave over it. So why the big shift? Well, because the world got a lot more complicated. Today's projects are a total maze of strict regulations, super tight deadlines, and clients who expect everything to be both cost-effective and environmentally friendly. The modern engineer has to be a master of juggling it all. And because the field is just so huge, it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of job. Civil engineering is really a team of specialists. Everybody has their own unique focus, but they're all working toward the exact same goal: building a better, safer world. First up, let's talk about environmental engineers. This is where engineering gets really crucial, where it meets ecology to tackle some of our planet's biggest challenges head-on.
Honestly, you can think of them as the guardians of nature inside the construction world. They're on the front lines, dealing with enormous challenges like wastewater treatment and making sure that new developments are actually sustainable. It's all about finding that perfect balance between progress and the planet. Next, we have the specialists who design the very skeleton of our world, the structural engineers. And the variety of their work is just incredible. I mean, from the wooden frame of a small house to a gigantic offshore oil platform in the middle of the ocean, a structural engineer's job is to make sure these things are strong enough to stand up to pretty much anything. Then you've got the engineers, who are all about getting things moving and then actually managing the build itself. That's where highway and construction engineers come in. These two roles really work hand in hand. The highway engineer is kind of like the choreographer, designing the flow of traffic and the shape of the roads. Then, the construction engineer is the on-site director, turning all those plans into a physical reality, making sure it gets done right, on time, and on budget. So, with all these different specialties, you might be wondering, what does it actually take to build a career here? Let's map out the path from student to full-on strategist. And the potential for growth is just massive. Get this, we saw one firm that started with just 2 people back in 1982, and it exploded to over 350 employees. I mean, that stat alone tells you everything about how vital and in demand this field is. To really succeed, it's not just about what you learned in a textbook. Nope. The key is getting your hands dirty with internships, really mastering the technical side like estimating costs and understanding the whole business side of things, like contracts and bidding on jobs. And the career options are incredibly diverse. You could be in a super creative design office, a high-powered consulting firm, a government agency that shapes public policy, or right there in the mud and dust at a contracting firm. The field is wide open. Okay, so let's bring this all together. The work of civil engineers is so woven into the fabric of our lives that it's easy to miss. It's almost like a hidden blueprint that supports everything we do, every single day. Ultimately, it really comes down to the simple, powerful fact. Almost every major project has a contribution from a civil engineer. And that's not an exaggeration. From the airport you fly out of to the water that comes from your faucet, their work is the invisible foundation of our daily lives.
So just take a final look around you, at the room you're in, the street outside, the city you call home. All of it, every single piece was imagined, designed, and then brought to life. The only real question left is, what are we going to build next?